Okay. Okay, so for sitting meditation, I just want to share the first thing very important is what we call tanjan. So I want to just demonstrate. Okay, put your finger on your belly button, everyone. Yeah, your belly button's right there. So 3 fingers below your belly button, right there. Okay, press that place. So it's about maybe 2 or 3 inches below your belly button. If you press that place, this is the exact middle from the top of your head, right, to the bottom of your feet. Okay, we call this tanjan or tantian in Chinese or hara in Japanese. In English, I think we just call it our center, or sometimes the word diaphragm is used. Now, this is physically a very important place for Zen. Why? Because then we keep our hands here in a mudra. That's a posture. So left hand over the right. Your thumbs, where the thumbs meet, should be where your belly button is. So that means the middle of this circle, where this button is here for me, right here, right? This tanjan is in the middle of the circle you're creating with your hands. Okay? So your hands are going to be here. Your arms sort of slightly relaxed, but a little bit apart. So it's like as if you could put a little egg here and the egg won't fall. That's like a little gap here, okay? Relax your shoulders. Now, posture-wise, for feet and legs, I'll show you. Here's a cushion and a mat, okay? This is a buckwheat hull cushion. If you sit this way, this is called a Burmese posture, 2 feet in front of your pelvis, okay? Half lotus is when you take one heel and put it against the hip bone of the opposite leg, okay? A full lotus is when you can put both feet on both legs like that. And it's not necessary to sit this way at all. The other posture that's possible is sitting like as if you're sitting on a horse. It's called seiza. So your knees together like that, like you're riding on a horse, okay? So all of these postures I've just shown you, there's one thing in common, and that is that your knees are touching the mat below you, okay? If you're sitting on a chair, you can sit on a chair that has an upright back, like preferably not like a couch, okay? And when you sit on a chair, try not to lean on the back, but suspend your back a little bit. You can put a cushion behind your back. Let your back have this natural S-curve, okay? And then put your feet flat on the floor, parallel, knees together. So feet and knees together, very important. So when we sit on the cushion, as I showed you the postures, I would suggest if you're sitting cross-legged, do the Burmese posture. If you're doing the half lotus or a full lotus, you're really flexed and you're really, nimble and you can sit without, your legs falling asleep, no problem. But I do recommend when you do cross-leg sitting in any posture, please alternate whether you put your left foot or the right foot in front each time you do your meditation, so that your pelvis is aligned and symmetrical. When we keep only one posture for a long time in sitting meditation, your body becomes crooked, okay? And it's very important also to stretch. If you can do yoga, also, a lot of times they say sitting is the new smoking. So while people meditate, a lot of people, including myself, we spend a lot of time in front of the computer, just sitting on our butt, okay? So sitting is the new smoking means if you're not moving your body a lot during the day, then it's not good for your health, simply. So if we are sitting, it's also important to then stand up, walk around, move our bodies, okay? So hence we have practices like bowing, walking meditation, etc. All right. So as I said, Zen is everyday life. Everyday life is Zen. That means when we sit on the cushion, it's not just body sitting. We call it mind sitting. So then what do you do the moment you get up from the cushion? How do you sit moment to moment to moment, no matter what your body does? Okay. So when we sit, as I said, the mudra is the left hand over the right in front of your tanjan. Okay. Shoulders relaxed. Okay. Your back is just naturally having its S curve. Your eyes are open but relaxed, about halfway open, looking down at a 45-degree angle. Your tongue touches the top palate. That's your upper teeth and your gum. Mouth closed. Okay. You can tuck your chin in a little bit and just have your eyes gaze at about a 45-degree angle on the floor. So we're not concentrating on any one thing. Like you're not boring a hole into the floor with your gaze, okay? But you are just perceiving. It means you see everything. We hear everything. Maybe you can smell everything. You can feel the air, the temperature. Everything in our senses is functioning naturally. We don't reject anything or take away or try to go after anything, okay? All you do is just perceive and relax. So breathing in through our nose and exhaling through our nose a little bit longer, okay? So as we're breathing in, now remember where your hands are. So when you breathe in, allow this lower belly part to slightly relax its muscle. It's like your belly's kind of getting a little bigger as you inhale. Don't force it so much, but just perceive it. Then when you exhale, twice as long as your inhalation, pull that lower belly in a little bit, okay? In the beginning, it's a little bit unnatural because we're not used to it. Unless you're already doing like Tai Chi or Qigong and you understand how to breathe with your tanjan, with your center. So breathe in, let's try that. Let your lower belly extend a little bit, then exhale, slowly, 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 breathe out. If it's not so easy for you to feel it, you can put both hands on your belly, okay, that place, and feel as you breathe in, like a little balloon filling up, and then as you exhale, slowly, slowly pull that belly back in as if the air is coming out of the center of your belly, okay? One more time, breathe in. And as we breathe in, let's relax our face and our neck and our shoulders and exhale. Yeah. Some people have a little bit like, you know, constricted shoulders, so relax. Okay. Feel the tension. If there's any tension in your body, breathe into that and breathe out from that. Okay, relax. So as I said, let your exhalation be a little longer, and you can really relax when you do that. And as you relax and exhale, then your inhalation will naturally be very deep by itself without force. So Zen breathing is natural breathing, but Tanjan breathing, okay? And if you can't do it from the beginning, don't worry. Just remember the instruction and just try. Okay, breathe in slowly and exhale. Okay. So when we breathe this way, breathe in and slowly breathe out. If you can breathe in for 5 seconds, and then if you can exhale 8 or 10 seconds, then you're actually doing 4 breaths a minute. Okay, most of us are breathing 18, 20 breaths a minute normally, most people. That means our breathing is quite shallow and from the upper chest. But if we return to this way of breathing, so 5 seconds in, And slowly, slowly breathe out. Let's say 10 seconds out. If you can bring it to that, if it's 3 seconds in, 6 seconds out, no problem. Okay. If you're still breathing shallow, don't worry. So it's only about our awareness and trying. Then as we try it, after a few breaths, you can really slow down. So if we slow down our breath a little bit, we can do 4 breaths a minute. If you're really good and you can do 10 seconds in, 20 seconds out, that's 2 breaths a minute. So they say in Taoism, if you can breathe, 1 breath, breathe in 20 seconds and 40 seconds, breathe out. That's 1 breath in 1 minute, right? Then you can live 100 years. If you can do that for 2 hours, you'll live 200 years. But that's not our goal necessarily. So don't attach to breathing itself or the technique of breathing, but be aware of your breath. And when you can naturally slow down your breath according to your constitution, then very quickly our thinking and our emotions can also relax. Okay, so it's the fastest way to change the way our brain functions from sympathetic to parasympathetic function of our nervous system, from fear, fight or flight, stress-induced thinking or emotions to, rest and digest, relax and be safe mode, okay? We can't intellectually will ourselves not to be afraid. If you had the experience like you're afraid or you have anxiety and you say, okay, relax, 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 you don't really relax. We tell ourselves that, but the message doesn't actually go to that part of the brain. Okay, the reptilian brain does not go to the amygdala that way, but it goes that way by physical activity, by physical experience through our breath. Our mind very quickly shifts to rest and digest mode. So please remember that, because many, many people I know experience anxiety in general. Also, COVID-19 creates extra anxiety and fear and difficulties for a lot of people. So the more we're aware of that when we're doing our breathing, then more quickly we can adjust to return to clear mind, okay, before thinking mind. So for sitting meditation, as I mentioned, breathing in slowly, breathing out. So it's how do I sit with our body, breath, and the final part is mind. Mind as in, what are you doing inside your brain while you're sitting and breathing? Okay, so most of us, probably 99% of the time, are thinking, even while we're sitting and breathing. And we may have a glimpse of, oh, aha, everything disappear, everything clear. So Zen Master Seung Sahn taught us, even when we sit meditation, do something is necessary. Okay, he used to say, do something necessary. So some of us have this new technique for beginners, breathing in, clear mind, clear mind, clear mind, quietly. Exhale, don't know. Okay, if you're new to Zen, if this is your new meditation instruction for you, then breathe in, try this one. Breathe in quietly inside, clear mind, clear mind, clear mind. And as you exhale, slowly, slowly, don't know. So put all your relaxation on this don't know and exhalation, okay? So each breath, clear mind, clear mind, clear mind. Exhale, don't know. Okay? Some kind of emotion appears, just return to clear mind, clear mind, clear mind. Exhale, don't know. Some kind of thinking appears, same thing. Whatever appears, no problem. Return to the exercise on your breath. If you are using mantra, same thing. Breathe in, Kwan Sen Bo Sal, Kwan Sen Bo Sal, Kwan Sen Bo Sal. Exhale, Kwan Simbo Sal, Kwan Simbo Sal, Kwan Simbo. Okay. So use your mantra quietly. Mantra up here is not correct mantra. Mantra also has to come down to your center. Then mantra is like a windshield wiper. You know, it's like a sword, just cut, cut, cut. Thinking appears, emotion appears, distraction appears, cut. Clear view, right? Windshield wiper is just a tool to help you perceive clearly. Okay, so everyday moment, walking, Kwan Simbo Sal, green light, go, clear. Walking, Kwan Simbo Sal, red light, stop, clear. That's all. It's a tool. If you are using great question, what is this? Okay, then use the question also not here, bring it down to your center, which means, what is this? Then look inside. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. So there are different techniques of practice, and according to the student's need, if you have a guiding teacher, your teacher can help you to decide what is a good practice for you. So I recommend please refer to a teacher that is your guiding teacher, or if you haven't decided on one, I recommend it's really good to connect with one teacher to whom you can be, I would say, accountable to, and to check your practice with regularly. But of course, in our Zen tradition, we are very open for students to practice with a number of other teachers. Check your koan practice, ask questions. So in our school, it's something that is not very explicit, but in the offline situation, if you belong to a Zen center, you have a guiding teacher. And that's the teacher that you would meet regularly with to check your practice. But with the online situation, we offer you the opportunity to meet a number of different teachers online, and someone you have affinity with that you trust, that is giving you good advice and is supporting you, then I recommend you can try to find out if they would like to be your guiding teacher. So we have guiding teachers within the Quantum Online Sangha who give regular interviews and check-ins and who can do that for you, including myself. And then there are other teachers from Zen centers. And since if some of you belong to your Zen center already, you already know that. But if you don't, then I'm happy to guide you to find your teacher or find a way with whom or which group you can practice with that would work for you, okay? So that was about sitting. Now, the second form I'd like to go over with you is bowing. And do any of you do bowing practice already? I'm just curious. Okay, some people are doing bowing practice already. Now, I'm going to show you the bowing form very briefly and then explain a little bit about why bowing is very useful, okay? So with bowing practice, we often do in most Zen centers, and that's definitely in our formal retreats like the 90-day kelches or 1-week retreats or weekend retreats. We start the practice in the morning with 108 bows all together. And we do the prostrations 108 times synchronized. So the leading guiding teacher or the monk or nun who leads it sets the speed, and everybody goes down together, comes up together 108 times. And I will show you the form. I'm going to unplug my audio and see if you hear me okay. Okay. All right. So I'll just show you the form and then I'll explain a little bit. So first, standing bow, hapjang, hands together, feet together. Okay. This is a standing bow, 90 degrees, come up. Okay, full bow is go all the way down, knees and feet together. Come back up, on both feet and knees. One more time, go down. Hands, elbows, knees on the mat, palms up, forehead touching. So I want to explain that in this form of bowing, your feet are together, the knees are together, okay? When you go down, your forehead needs to touch the mat, okay? And then when you come up, the best form is put palms together and then sit on your heels and then stand up. If we're not used to it, actually, you will discover that the bowing form actually works on some muscles you didn't know you had. So you might be a little sore. But if you want to start out, you don't have to do it 108 times. You can start out with first 9, then 27 and 54. You can alternate, do one standing bow, one full prostration, another standing bow, one full prostration, so you can alternate. So build up your practice so that it works for you, and slowly, slowly you build energy. So bowing is a practice form that is used to first purify our physical body energy. It means work with that body karma, our body habit. So the more bows we do, the quicker we can purify our emotions like anger, especially, anxiety, okay, our tendency physically to do things that are negative, okay, if we have a lot of physical addictions, okay, difficulty using our body, then bowing is a very, very powerful practice. There is one practitioner in Korea who was born with a handicap. She was physically handicapped when she was born. She couldn't walk. And her mother was a very devoted Buddhist, and she took her to this famous Zen monk who told her, her mother was taking her around to try to heal her, to make her normal. And all the doctors, the masters, they all said, oh, she will die at a young age. Okay. They prophesied that she would die at a young age. But this one Zen master, he said, oh, yeah, she will die. And then this girl said, well, if I'm going to die, then I'm going to die right here. And she didn't want to leave the temple. So the Zen master said, okay, then you bow. So she started bowing, and she was like 4 years old at the time. And her body was handicapped, so her mother had to help her, bowing, bowing, bowing. So eventually she was doing 3,000 bows a day. This is a true story, and she wrote a book. So she's quite famous now in Korea. She's an art therapist teacher. And so until she was 21, she was bowing like 1,000 times a day. She was doing like 10,000 bows practice for like 90 days or 100 days. Growing up even as a teenager, and she became very beautiful. And even when she walks, she's a little bit slightly still handicapped, but she's much healthier now. And she finally fulfilled her wish, which was to climb the Himalayas, with her both legs. So bowing can be a very powerful practice if sitting is difficult for us, or if we have a lot of emotions and we have what we call strong karma, a lot of suffering and negativity that we cannot control, then bowing is a most effective practice to do. So Zen Master Seung-san was doing 1,000 bows every single day from 2:30 in the morning before all of us woke up for practice at 3:30 in the temple. And he did that until he was 60 years old. So when he says strong practice necessary, he was actually a very good example for us. Now, it doesn't mean we all have to do 1,000 bows, but one sincere bow is better than 1,000 bows for your own ego, okay? So more important is when we do bowing, why do that, okay? Why the forehead has to touch the mat. So it's a very kind of, I would say, I think the word we might use is, it's called a pneumenical practice, where somehow your physical posture and the experience you go through, it kind of has a cathartic reaction. And then when you stand up, when your forehead touches the mat, we become very humble. Then when we stand up in the standing meditation posture, that's in yoga mountain posture. So it means stand up like Buddha. Okay. Then again, go down, clear mind, return to clear mind, which means take away negative emotions and thinking. Then humble again, stand up again like Buddha, and again and again and again. So in Buddhism, we say we have 108 daily, misconceptions and delusions. So each moment you go down, you clear that. And if you do it first thing in the morning, it's the best way to win your day, okay? Good, okay, so the third formal practice I want to mention today is about chanting. Some of you are already doing some chanting. Chanting, we also do with some of the live stream practices, like last night, Wednesday night, our group in Seoul, we do 3 chants, the Heart Sutra in Korean, English, and Great Dharani. In our tradition, we do a number of chants daily, and they follow the form of Zen and Mahayana Buddhist chanting tradition in Korea. And those are mostly the, we call the homage to the 3 jewels, paying homage to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, all great teachers and practitioners, and the realm of practice that supports us to attain our true self, okay? So it means that it's a chant of gratitude and recognition that we have this teaching, okay? The second chant we do is the Heart Sutra. That's the main sutra teaching of Zen, okay? How to attain complete, clear, empty mind, attain our original substance. That's in the Heart Sutra teaching. So we chant that in Korean, as our tradition comes from Korea, and we chant it in English or in any language that you belong to in the Zen Center. So if you go to any Zen Center in the future after COVID-19, when we can travel, all the teaching forms, the chanting, bowing, all same. Every Zen Center we go to around the world in our tradition, except Heart Sutra, you can also learn in the different languages. Then we chant the Great Dharani, and that is the mantra of the Bodhisattva of compassion. And it's the mantra that Zen Master Seung Sahn attained enlightenment through. He was sitting 90 days chanting, 100 days chanting this when he got enlightenment. So we do these chants regularly. Then we have what's called a special chanting, Kwan chanting. So Bodhisattva of compassion chanting that we usually use as a practice to dedicate for suffering beings, our friends, families, loved ones, and of course to support our own practice, okay? We also have chants that are for the dead, Jijang Bosal chanting. We have in Korea or Asia more chanting that has to do with Dharma supporting, So there are many, many aspects of chanting, but more important for us as Zen students is chanting means perceive our sound also clearly and use the voice, hearing, and chanting as a technique to attain what am I? Who is chanting right now? So it's a Zen chanting. The direction of chanting is Zen. Attain your true self, okay? Perceive what am I? So when we chant, hear the sound of your own voice and the sound of the person who's chanting with you or the group. So if you're listening to a recording right now because you're chanting from your home alone, chant with the group sound, follow the sound, or chant with the teacher or the group that you practice with. but make your own sound as well. Okay, so it means perceive sound clearly. So Kwan Bosal, the word in Korean for Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokiteshvara, means perceive world sound Bodhisattva. So when we chant, we not only make sound, but we open our ears. So hearing clearly will help you attain clearly moment mind. Okay? So bowing, chanting, and sitting, these three formal main practices we can use ourselves in our daily life will open up our physical energy, our emotional energy, and of course, our mental consciousness to function more clearly. So all our senses are opening, and more functioning and perceiving clearly. Okay? So I want to mention that if you haven't seen it or heard, this is called a moktak. It's a wooden bell instrument that we use in our tradition to make a sound, the beat. So we do Kwan Seum Bosa, Kwan Seum Bosa, Kwan Seum Bosa, Kwan Seum Bosa, like that. So we use this for chanting. I'm not sure if you can buy it online in English. You can buy it online in Korean, but maybe one thing we need to do soon is on the online Sangha, create a little Zen shop for you guys. You can buy the moktak and the chukbi and the bell, whatever you need. But you can use anything you like. You can use your own, if you have a little like instrument yourself. I often find using something to help me chant grounds me as well. So if you're musical and you want to experiment, you can do that. The next thing I want to explain briefly is our koan practice. So koan practice is done with one-on-one interviews. So some of you already have this experience, but a koan is actually a question. Okay, so here's a good koan for everyone. What is the sound of one hand clapping? What is the sound of one hand clapping? Okay, so often the koan is a question that is paradoxical. So it's a question that cannot be answered with logic, with our normal thinking mind. Okay, so koan teaching in Zen is a teaching device in a way. It's a method of helping the student return to before thinking, to access your true inner wisdom that is not dependent on good or bad, like or dislike, high and low, or logic, or opposites of thinking. So it's a technique to help all of us return to our original wisdom. So when we have the one-on-one koan practice sessions, the teacher's job is to help the student first get a stronger center. That means attain believing in yourself. Okay. Also, at the same time, the koans are used to help the student to access their own innate wisdom. Okay. And the third is to help the student to find correct direction in their life and their practice. Okay. And function accordingly. So in Zen Master Seung San's teaching, we have three elements, very basic. One is attain your true substance. That means before your thinking appear, what are you? Where is that? You experience that. When you experience that, you can perceive the truth very clearly. Okay. If you return to before keeping a lot of opinions or like or dislike or opposites, return to before opposites, then your mind becomes clear like a mirror, very clear. Then anything appears, just reflect. Red appears, only reflect red. White ball appears, only reflect white ball. But a mirror doesn't say, I don't like red ball, I like white ball, okay? So that's a like, dislike mind, opinion. So go before that, then from this place, perceive the truth. Then one more step is how do you correctly function in truth? That's our relative world we live in. How do you correctly function in your relative world? Okay, so it's absolute and name and form come together. How do we function in our daily life? That's a correct Buddha's teaching. Okay, and Koan practice is a way to attain that. We have experience, not just intellectual understanding, but experience. Okay, so I advise people to do regular koan practice with any of the teachers, your guiding teacher, and of course, any of the groups that you join. And also, if you can, to join any of the retreats. Joining a retreat regularly, even once a month, even for one day, is enormously beneficial in boosting your dharma, your practice energy. Okay, then you will see that your daily practice energy will grow. Okay, if we do a retreat like regularly, even once a month for 8 hours or a whole day or a weekend, or hopefully if COVID-19, if this vaccine works, you know, and we can somewhat come back to a safer environment in the world, then we can join some of our Zen centers and the retreats that are going on and practice with our communities. Okay. So the support of a group practice is very important in Zen because it's how we can perceive our own karma. You know, we're all sitting at home right now ourselves, so we often want to do things our own way, my own preference, right? But if you end up with a group, oftentimes you have to follow what is the best for the group. And oftentimes that's how we see our own karma, our own like and dislikes. So if we only follow our like and dislike, we will not be able to be free. But if we can use the situation we're in to be free of our like and dislikes or opinions, then any opinion appears, you can use it correctly with a clear direction. Okay, so that brings us to the next part, which is meditation in everyday life. So in our tradition, we have a monastic tradition of practitioners and lay people line of practitioners and teachers. So most of us here today, all of us actually, are lay people here. We all have jobs, family, relationships. We're not monks or nuns who are celibate. In the temple behind me, you know, over the hill in Musangsa, the sunims, we call them sunims, our monks and nuns. They are sitting the summer 90-day retreat, Kyeolche, right now. It ends August 4th. And, you know, they don't have to be married. They don't have children. They have a very simple life. Just follow the schedule, 24 hours, you know, temple schedule, okay? And do a little work for the temple, but most of the time they're sitting meditation. So that's a path that is optimal if you want to practice. So it's an option for all of you, okay? If you want to do that, it's number one, wonderful path, okay? Highway to become Buddha. And as a Westerner or a foreigner, Musangsa is the one place in Korea where you can have monastic training to become a monk. For monks, for nuns, not Musangsa, but our temple in Malaysia or Hong Kong, they have more nuns training. But for us as lay people, we have three important things for us. And I call them the three pillars of Zen for lay people. So the first is formal practice, okay? The second is our job or livelihood. And the third is relationships, which is family, you know, friends, community, society. Now, monks, sunims also have these things, but they are different, okay? They have the Sangha, they're monks community or a monastic community. They have the temple, a work life situation, responsibilities, okay, and formal practice. So for us as lay people, this tripod, these three legs have to sort of work together. So sometimes, our work overwhelms us. Sometimes the family home situation overwhelms us. We don't have time for formal practice, right? Maybe our health is no good and then I cannot practice. So many kind of karma, our cause and effect appears and hinders us or makes it difficult. So when we base our daily life schedule and practice rituals and our habits in such a way that you try as much as you can to balance these three legs, okay, then slowly, 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 this Dharma will give you power. The Dharma energy will sustain us during the difficult koans that appear in our job, or the difficulty of our family relationship, or a health problem arises. How do I use my mind if I'm bedridden? Okay. How can I help my son if he has depression? What do I do if I get fired today? Those are all what we call koans of daily life. So when we use koan practice and do daily meditation, they come together, work on our wisdom to open up. And in our everyday life, that is your football field. That's where you see how this is working for you. Okay? That's where you see, am I still attached to the way anger appears? You can see, am I able to control my emotions in chaos? Okay. When I go out, do I wear a mask or not? Are you clear? Right? So our family life, relationships, our job, like what's my correct livelihood? Okay. How do I help this world? Outside job and our formal practice. If you can balance that a little bit, then that will slowly start to bring some kind of root of the Dharma functioning in your daily life. Okay. And of course, to do that, we have to adjust, slowly, slowly, slowly. That's why I say, any kind of distraction that doesn't help you, look at that. Do you really need it or not? What's your priority? Okay. What is this direction? Then related to that, the next part I want to talk about is what we call Buddhism and Zen, the true three jewels. So in Buddhism, we have this three jewels, or the triple gems. So the first is Buddha, the second is Dharma, and the third is Sangha. So these are three Sanskrit words. Now, Buddha, as I mentioned, is the awakened one. Okay. The Dharma is the word for truth or teaching. And Sangha is the word to express community, practicing community, Dharma friends. So right now, all of us here, even through Zoom, we are a Sangha. Okay. It means Dharma friends practicing together to attain our true nature. It's a special relationship. Okay. There's a saying in 12 steps, you may not like all of us, but you love each other in a special way. So it's a bit like that. Sometimes, people like your family, you don't really like them, but they're your family, right? So Dharma friends, same. We're all on the same path. We all got on this boat together. We're all in the same bus. Direction is the same. Sometimes we have like, dislike, we have karma, little bit bang, bang, okay? Not connect too well or don't like each other. But that's where we are practicing. This is the point of practice. How do I work through, by practicing with others, my personal opposites, thinking and attachment? So the three jewels are the basis, the foundation of Buddhism. And often we use the word taking refuge in the three jewels. What does that mean? It means when I really realize that this is my path, my spiritual direction to find what am I, attain my true self, and help this world. If I can become clear by doing this, and it might take a whole lifetime for this to become clear one day, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it. If I have this commitment, then Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is the place of refuge. That means we can always go there for the teacher. We can always go there for the teaching. We can always go there for the community to support us. So meeting together to practice together, that's a Sangha support. Okay, Dharma friend support, a Dharma family. Coming back and listening, hearing, reading, following, and applying the teaching, the Dharma. That's our way. It's our practice. Okay. If you can connect with a teacher, okay, connect even with a Buddha statue, or the chant, or a ritual, or some text, that's Buddha. It's representing Buddha. That's reflecting your true nature. So those elements are also, the forms are also teaching us. So you have a little altar at your home, is also wonderful. You light a candle or light an incense. It's a small thing, but it kind of just grounds us and connects us back to what am I doing right now? Okay, there are teaching forms that we can use. So refuge means it supports you, it protects you. So it's actually meaning our own true nature protects us from our own ignorance. Okay, so remember that, and we can talk more about it in later sessions, more deeply about the value of the triple gems. There's so much wonderful teaching about it and ways we can use it to open up our mind. And the last part of the outside of the triple gems is what we call precepts. And taking precepts is a foundation of actually becoming a Buddhist practitioner or a Zen student. So why is that? Precepts is, we call it also vows. But when we take the first 5 Buddhist precepts, they are for us to not kill, to not do misconduct based on, lust or immoral behavior. The third is not to lie. The fourth is not to take things not given. And the last is not to take intoxicants to induce heedlessness, which means if you take alcohol or drugs or any kind of substances that makes our mind clouded, that is not considered helpful for practitioners. So these 5 basic precepts, vows that we take are meant to be sort of a guide, like a map to support us in our practice journey. Okay?